What's going on, everybody? A few people had asked me what my IG was, so there you go. I'll change the name once in a while because it's funny to me, but Merlzen the City Mystic. Somebody had called me Merlzen the other day by accident. I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. So I think that might be my little handle for a little bit. I mean, City Mystic has always been what I gone by, and Zen, obviously. That's how people know me. But yeah, here's where you can check me out on Instagram, and there's always little tidbits and gems in there as well. Um, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, just man, that last video I did on meditation. There was some background music, and I got 2 copyright claims against it. I mean, not that I really care. I wasn't trying to make any money off of it, anyways. It's not like that. But it was just funny that I was in the background, so I don't know. Apparently I'm not gonna have too much music on in the background. So I'll just start throwing some of my music and beats up here because I just gotta pull that out the closet. And we'll have some Zen beats going on with this in the future. What else? What else? Yeah, happy whatever day it is for you. Enjoy the day. Is that iPhone 8 out yet? Is that anybody out there getting that? Man, I think about it like my mind is like the iPhone Infinity. You know, like people out here waiting in line for the iPhone 8, and if people really want to eat, if you really want to eat Infinity, just let people know. Come listen. It's free. Just get on here and give these little meditations and things. Man, when I did that little meditation thing, I was like, it's so funny because I've never done one of those before. As I was doing it, I was like, oh, this is how I talk to people anyways. But I was just doing it with a little bit more focused attention to adjusting people's brains. Like literally getting in there and toying around in people's brains, not to unhook things, to unhook things that were crossed wires and ruined connections and burnt out analogs in people's brains and fried. I was removing things, and it was so funny. I was thinking about after I'd done it and listened to it, I was like, wow, that was this combination of all of these different teachers that I've had, and putting into a stew of information and knowing how the mind functions. And so hopefully that was really awesome for people, and it was able to clear up and change and alter your comprehension of what reality is, and make your brain a little more loose and airy, and that you could ingest information after that easier. And even during it, I hope that it unlocks some things for you. So share that, guys. That if you found benefit out of that, put that in people's hands. That's it really is next level stuff. I've listened to a lot of different meditations and theta this and delta waves this and hypnosis, and I've studied all this stuff. I'm very aware of it. I never really put it into practice, but I don't think anybody was really that I've heard so far was putting it out the way I did. It's not just a one directional, you sit on a couch and I'm gonna fix your brain for you. It was like, here, I'm going to show you while I'm fixing your brain how to fix your brain yourself while you're meditating on why time doesn't exist. I mean, I'm not just like patting myself on the back here. I mean, I am a little bit, but like, I hope that was really awesome for people. And if you obviously comment below and let me know what you think about it. And if you want me to do more of those, and I can, obviously, like when I went into that was really just, I woke up, that was off the cuff. I was like, well, here, let me just do this for people. And if you want me to direct it in a different way, and you want something maybe within a meditation that I can really download, I don't know, ideas within a book, maybe there's a book you want to know, or something that you want to know about that I can put into like a hypnosis type session, but where I don't even like the word hypnosis, because it's not really that. I mean, it is hip, hypnosis, if you understand what hip is and what knowledge is, for sure. I can do like maybe I'll do like a whole series on hypnosis. But yeah, I think that the idea here for me is to teach people how to hypnotize themselves, and that was kind of what I was doing in that, where a lot of what you'll find is a lot of people, while they're good at what they're doing and it's very helpful, just because you come out of a meditation or you come out of a hypnotherapy or whatever session, if you're unaware of the transition that has taken place within your own consciousness and mind and body, it's not a benefit. You see, if anybody's seen the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey, like, you don't want to erase your memories. That's not the idea. And this goes into people that say you want to get rid of your chakras, or you want to get rid of your ego, especially getting rid of the ego. Your memories and your ego are intimately bound together. It's just you have to flip it over and understand what it is. You have to understand it's like saying, oh no, I'm just my mind, I'm not my body. I mean, yeah, to a degree, but we know we live inside of a body. In the same way, we know that the ego does exist, and it's not something you get rid of. Everybody's, oh, ego death. You don't know what you're talking about. And anybody that's talking and saying they had an ego death, that's what the word ego is, or egg and ego and eagle. If you've had an ego death, you wouldn't be talking. You'd be sitting there literally as a vegetable. You'd be in a vegetative state, basically in samadhi, and you'd have no capacity to have any recall of past experiences or future events. You'd be sitting there drooling on yourself. That would be you without an ego. That would be a lobotomy. That's what that's called. So my idea here that I try to deliver to people is, I'm going to give you the tools, conscious tools, through my voice and everything else I do, so that you can toy around in your own brain, because that's what the whole game is. You're sitting there, it's your PlayStation, it's your Xbox, it's your television, you have the channel, you have the remote control. And I guess this is probably just a spin-off of, I just revisited some Robert Anton Wilson work, and some Aleister Crowley, and some, obviously Alan Watts always fits into there, and some Aldous Huxley and the Eighth Circuit idea of how the mind and the body and consciousness works. And it's something I'd got into a long time ago, but I revisited it, and I was like, oh yeah, forgot about this stuff. This is highly awesome. So I think there's as you can decode this whole thing in a lot of different ways, as I've tried to show people through numerics and the alphabet and the different symbols, and there's lots of ways of doing it. But the goal, the whole aim of this, any kind of meditation, any kind of hypnotherapy, any kind of whatever you're involved with in your life, it's your experience. And that's what needs to be well understood about all of this. Interacting with other people, it's still your experience. Interacting by yourself, being, whatever that might mean, to say alone, all one is the word alone, all one. And having this experience from your center point in your consciousness, whether that center point is your brain, like you can look out of your eyeballs and you have this kind of feeling that you are sitting behind your eyeballs. Now that's one place where you're experiencing the world, but there's another time where if you're molding something with your hands as an artist, maybe you're playing with clay, or you're playing with something as a child, or you're petting an animal, your life, your consciousness resides then there in your hands. It's no longer behind your eyeballs. Those times you've been just staring off in the distance and you're like, what the hell was I looking at? Where were you? You no longer were in the consciousness and that space of feeling that you were behind your eyeballs. You were in somewhere else. And then, you're petting something, and then consciousness is in your hand. You're making love to someone, and your consciousness should be throughout your entire body and your mind, but most people are just having it in one general locator region, in the groinal genital region, and that's not the full aspect of what the tantric thing, the tantric idea is of living in love and life. And to further that, as I'm going into these kind of concepts, it all boils down to it's your experience. It's yours. Be selfish. Life is selfish. And the juxtaposition The curious nature of being selfish is the more selfish you are, the more sharing you are. The more selfish you are, the more you want other people to be happy. It runs a tandem. It always does. You need introversion, like introversion and introspection, of being a hermit, as being Hermes Trismegistus of thought process internally, to mold and correct imbalances within internal spaces and mentalities, to create an environment that is actually in this three-dimensional realm where other people can participate in that. That creates something that is reflective of your own source of consciousness, and within that space other people are in it as well, and you're interacting simultaneously. They're in your space and you're in their space, and it's an energetic flux of what looks like a figure eight, infinity, but many figure eights all connecting, kind of like that, like many snakes tied together, and those are the energies, or like a Celtic, that Celtic, what do they call it? That Celtic knot. I mean, this is what it's about. But always, this whole focus is, as much as everybody, all these people are so sharing, they're so giving, but it's because they're so very, very, very selfish. And it's just a little twist in what you think of selfish is, which allows more expression to take place. And the more expression is, the more avenues of energy you can share. Somebody that's very selfish making a painting, being introverted, then expresses that giant painting that they've drawn, or they've painted, they've put together, and it becomes, well, look at that, and it's an epicenter of energy. It's a vortex. It's a point that now actually expresses itself in the opposite direction as an extrovert. Introversion and extroversion play well together. It's the vortex of the two cones, the two. It's as Dan Winter puts it, two pine cones kissing. It's that. It spins into the point of maximum compression and spits out the other side. It's what the mirror is, and sitting right there in the middle of the mirror is what it takes to be shaman, mystic. It just, even if you don't want to use those words, it just means to be like centered within yourself, to have your experience. And to not only have an experience bringing it into you, but be able to put it out and push it out into a constructive way. You know, they say order out of chaos, right? Order out of chaos. And everybody's so confused by that, because you notice there's a lot of people that actually make chaos so that they can make the order. But then the truth is, that is a real saying. It's like the idea that everybody that isn't a Freemason is evil or bad or something. No, they're just, some people have mistaken the teachings, and that goes for any single institution out there. The teachings have been misguided, mistaught. So that order out of chaos says, well, this whole world is chaotic. Look, go run around in nature. Everything is what's that over there? Look at that. There's no order to that. And we take those things and we structure a building. We structure something so it becomes a temple. And while a temple, have you ever looked at these temples? Where do they exist? They exist in the middle of forests, but they look like they fit there, even though they look nothing like anything else in that forest. Those temples sit there perfectly, as if they should be there, because they were designed out of the same architect, the grand architect of all creation, the mind. But it was properly put there, even though it looks nothing like those trees. It's big white pillars of marble and granite. And then they took the ideas and understanding of the wisdom within the bioelectrical magnetic system that we live inside of, and the bioacoustics around the entire environment, and turned that into what they hear as gongs and bells and sounds and birds. And they looked at the floors and they said, these floors are going to be made out of the same thing that our skeletal system is, piezoelectricity. And there's a whole litany and wonderment of how all of this was structured and put together. But what does it always focus on? Your experience. Oh, I can teach you all of it. I can show you all of this. You can go to these places and see this and participate in it. But it's still, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, wherever you are right now, it's your experience. It's yours. What do you want to get out of it? What do you want? Do you need an income, or would you like an outcome? People are focused on incomes because they know not of what an outcome is.
But if you put those together, an income and an outcome, you get exactly the present moment you're in, which is the present, the gift of life. Outcomes create incomes, not the other way around. Stay centered, stay awesome, or move. Do whatever you need to do. Have a beautiful day. Be majestic.